Yeah, Charles also just unprompted brought up Musa once or twice. Even answering questions not specifically about centers. He talked about the team being great at offensive rebounding, and he mentioned Musa specifically about being the reason why the team is such a great offensive rebounding squad. So yes, I agree with you. I don't think it really matters who starts that much. I do agree that Musa is going to play more minutes than anybody else at center. Something he brought up when he was talking about the center rotation with Musa specifically, he said Musa's best coverage is switching. But when we switch, we have to figure out who is going to protect the rim, who is going to protect the paint when Musa gets drawn out, which made me wonder. And I think we talked about this in the pod last week, and I asked Musa about it later on in the day. Are they going to play any of these guys together? Charles keeps bringing up, he brought it up at the media luncheon last week, and he brought it up again today, saying that Ryan Kalkbrenner reminds him of Brooke Lopez. Do they really trust Ryan Kalkbrenner's shot enough to play him and Musa together? Do they trust Mason's ability to be an offensive hub, play this like perimeter style as a screener, dribble handoff kind of guy to pair him with Musa on offense? Because Charles said that, it just makes me wonder, is there any world in which Musa plays a decent chunk of minutes at the four? Or is he just bringing it up, when Grant Williams comes back? You can play Grant at the four and Moose at the five, and Grant can kind of give you that paint protection that you're not getting when you switch Musa out on the perimeter. So I took note of that, just wondering, is there any scenario in which Musa plays a large chunk of minutes at power forward? Personally, I don't think that is the solution. I think that just really handicaps your offense too much, especially if Kalkbrenner's three-point shot does not translate to this level, because he is just still has barely scratched the surface of his potential as a three-point shooter. And the NBA game obviously moves faster. The line is a little bit further out. It's going to take him some time to really like get his bearings from deep. So personally, I don't think that's the answer, but I'm curious to know what you think. Do you believe that Charlotte will play Musa at the four at all before Grant Williams comes back?
Maybe, but I'm with you. I personally don't feel like that's the answer. Whether you're playing with Kalkbrenner or playing him alongside Plumlee, like it definitely makes the floor a little cramped. I don't buy into Kalkbrenner's shot as of yet. I
Mm-hmm.
know there's been glimpses of an outside shot at Creighton. I did not obviously watch a ton of him in college, but I don't think it's at that point yet to where Diabate could be the four with him at the five. There might be sporadic minutes where that happens. And obviously Mason Plumlee's not stretching the court either. So, you got to have, I would say, at least four shooters out there if Diabate is going to be the four. And because he is undersized, I think a lot of people's minds go to the fact that maybe he can play four, but he himself is not stretching the court either. So I don't know how that's going to work unless you're just trying to be different than the other NBA teams and just play double bigs that don't have any stretchability and try to beat players or beat teams on the offensive glass. I'm just not totally sold on the idea yet that Kalkbrenner can stretch the court. But if it does happen with Diabate playing the four, I just don't think it's going to be for consistent minutes
Yeah.
by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and Houston did that. They played, their double big lineup, and neither Şengün or Steven Adams can shoot. And I feel like that's something that Hornets fans can point to. But Şengün is just like such a special playmaker. He's so good with the ball in his hands, basically like operating as a point guard when he's playing at center. And Charlotte doesn't have none of their three bigs can do that. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't think there's a world in which that happens on a successful level this year, even though it was something they did experiment with towards the end of last season with Musa and Nurkic, and even Musa and Mark Williams at times.